Hello everybody, this is ManuS and welcome to another Eternal News episode here on EternalTitans.com. So today it's time to continue with the spoiler review. Like I said in the last video, there's already a bunch piling up, so let's get started. Okay, so first we have another legendary spoiler. Unfortunately, it's about as underwhelming as the other one, the green 9-drop that we saw so far. So what we get is a 7-cost 5/4 Reveed Insect Master. On summon you get to play a power card of your choice from your deck. So it is gonna be ready, not depleted. And on Empower you play a 1/1 Humbug Swarm. So basically what you get is you get a 7-cost 5/4 with a free 1/1 flyer, the chance of more 1/1 flyers, and you get a free ready power. Problem is, once you're on 7, ramping doesn't do a whole lot for you anymore. The next thing is making a bunch of 1/1 humbugs with flying with Empower from a 7-drop. Doesn't matter that much because by that time you should have played most of your power. And for like top end Empower payoffs we already have something like Mystic Ascendant, which seems a lot better. So I remain highly skeptical that this guy will have any impact in Constructed whatsoever. Maybe I am wrong, not 100% sure. Maybe there could be something done with this and Obelisk in some form, but yeah, seems pretty underwhelming. A bit better than the green one we saw though. In Limited, however, this seems like a potential bomb that can just kind of take over a longer game that is stalled out a bit. Next we have this card that doesn't have a name because the community is supposed to name it. It's a 2-cost 2/3. It's an unseen, which is nice because it's a relevant tribe. All spells deal -1 damage, like 1 damage less, which means this doesn't die to Torch and this doesn't die to Hailstorm. And it also means if your deck is mostly a bunch of 3 health units, especially in the early game, this protects you from Hailstorm really nicely. The 2/3 stats make it just decent at blocking against aggressive decks and having a reasonable impact. So this card is actually pretty interesting and might have some nice uses in Constructed against especially Hailstorm. It should be pan out a lot better than Leader's Apprentice did as a Silence Hoser, so we'll see how this does. Next we have Secret Passage. On summon you give one of your units unblockable this turn, and once per turn you may pay 2 to give one of your units unblockable and sacrifice the unit at the end of the turn. In Constructed this is not really something you're interested in, but in Limited this seems like kind of a powerful card and a great stall breaker. The game is being stalled out in some form and stabilized, and one player drops this should win the game. You just get in for damage immediately, and afterwards you can just fling your best units at them to deal damage, the ones that you don't need for blocking, and just win the game, while the opponent just has to sit there and take it. So this seems like a pretty good Limited card. Next we have Bare Arms, Louis' favorite pun reveal, because, you know, the guy is bearing arms and the arms he is bearing are bare arms. There's so much pun level going on in this card. It had to be spoiled by LSV. But yeah, it's a common. It costs 2, it's a Recano card, gives +1/+1, and when you play a unit, Bare Arms gets +1/+1. Problem is this card is just a bit slow and overcosted for Constructed, but in Limited this might be pretty good, especially for decks that care about weapons, and this can really grow out of hand. Kind of like a different effect as like the student Empower type thing, except instead of for power the unit grows by you playing more units, and the fact that you have to invest an extra card to get this effect, and it's not just attached to the unit like with student, obviously makes it a lot worse. But it might be a solid Constructed Limited card. We don't know remotely what Limited with the new set will look like in terms of curated boosters and so on. Next we have Makeshift Barrier. Artwork kind of reminds me of Fortnite for whatever reason with the barrier and the art style and everything. So it's 3 cost, 05. With endurance, not sure what the point of the endurance is. I would assume that the transformation might actually not be permanent. So you kind of like pay 3, transform it into a whirly twirly, which we don't know yet what it is, but it sounds like some form of flying attacker. You attack, it transforms back, and because it has endurance, it readies again so you can block. So it's kind of like a card that you can just plop down, you can use it to attack while at the same time blocking on the ground during the opponent's turn. Kind of depends how good it is, what a whirly twirly will look like, maybe like a 2/1 flyer or something, I don't know. Something like that, I would assume. Something fragile with okay stats, because it is kind of 2 cards in 1. But yeah, obviously not a constructed card, but in limited, this looks like it could actually be pretty nice in defensive and grindier decks, where you just kind of plop this down early, use it to defend, and then when you're stabilized, you just use it to harass your opponent and start winning. Last but not least, we have the most exciting spoiler so far, in my opinion, Display of Instinct. There's going to be 5 of these, 1 in each of the supported tri-faction combinations, 5 more in the next set. And yeah, this card is just all around awesome. New modal cards are always great, and this one has 1 mode for each of its colors. It's a fast spell, making all the modes super nice. Fire mode deals 4 damage to any enemy. Players and units, perfect. Second mode, the time mode, put 1 of your units into your hand and gain its health. So this can save a unit, this can save you. It can be combined. Also, if you save a unit, gaining a bunch of health is really sweet. It's a bit expensive to use it to save a unit, but it still might come up. Especially because if the health matters, you might want to save the unit by returning it rather than negating the spell, or if the source is not a spell that you can negate, like a relic weapon or a unit ability or whatever. And last but not least, the primal effect of the card is negate an enemy spell, which is pretty nice to have attached to such a good card. So basically the fire mode will be the primary, the primal one the secondary, and the time will be the fringe utility one that sometimes comes up and then bails you out big time. Yeah, this card is just super exciting and amazing, and I can't wait to see what the others look like and what their modes will do. This looks like the best modal spell cycle we've seen by far. Much higher power level than the choices, which had a lot of questionable modes, were non-fast, where they would have been pretty decent if they were fast, and so on. And this one is just super exciting. I can't wait to see the other ones and mess around with them. They're gonna have a huge impact on Constructed. This specifically might revitalize something like FTP moment variants and approaches, but we'll see once we know more about the set. This is pretty awesome. This is a spoiler that gets me excited. Anyway, guys, we are through with today's spoilers. As you're watching this, there will already be more spoilers revealed, so stay tuned for more spoiler reviews from me after this one, of course. They're pumping them out pretty fast because I think the set will come by the mid of the month or something, probably around a week before Christmas or something like that, but we'll see. Anyway, this was it again for today. Let me know in the comments what you think about the cards and my assessments of those. If you enjoy the content, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification icon to not miss out on future content. You can find me on social media, Facebook and Twitter over here, and catch me live streaming on Twitch if you're interested in that. And one last thing, if you want to help support us and keep the free content going, please consider turning off your ad block, whitelisting eternaltitans.com and YouTube to support us with ads for free. That would be awesome. Any further information and all the social media stuff you can also find as links down below in the description. That's it for today. This was Eternal News with the latest Defiance spoiler batch review. I'm your host Manu S. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.